Hi everyone, welcome to Reading 100. This week we're going to give you a little bit of information on what you're going to be doing for deadline this week and sharing a quick resource guide on our conversation roundtable and what that's going to look like as you're reading deadline. So just as a recap, we are now on week 7. You need to be reading chapters 1 through 6 in Deadline by Chris Crutcher. Again, remember that you can purchase this book any way you would like. You should have the book by now, and if you don't, then you need to get it via e-reader, or if you can go down to a bookstore and get it today because you do need to start reading the book. So I do want to give you a little bit of a background as far as what to be thinking about as you read. And again, we're thinking about this not just in terms of reading for deadline, but in terms of any reading task that you have in a college environment. So one of the things that you need to remember or think about whenever an instructor or a professor is asking you to read something is you want to think about the particular task in mind. And some examples that you might be reading for in college are right here. You might be preparing for a lecture. Maybe you need to read some chapters in order to understand the instructor's lecture better. You may also be preparing for a test. You might also be preparing to write a paper or do a project. Sometimes on a test, it's about straight facts in what you know, dates, names, places, or sometimes it might be application. What can you do with those facts that show that you can actually apply that learning to something else? And those two things are very different, and it's going to change how you read. And in a paper, you need to think about how you can analyze what you're reading and think about it in a new and different way from whatever that point of view your instructor is asking you to view it. And oftentimes we are asking you to synthesize or to put together ideas from different sources to paint a better picture of that topic. And that's what we're going to be talking a lot about in the Reading 100 class. And sometimes when you read, you just want to read for extra knowledge about your topic. Some of you might find you're interested in a particular topic and you're just reading for that extra knowledge. And how you read there is going to vary or change in how you might read something a little bit more in depth for a test or a paper. So before you read, determine your task. You need to know what you're reading for. What of those things above is it for, or is it for something different? And a huge hint to remember is your instructor should let you know what you're reading for. And if you don't know, then please ask your instructor. You can shoot them a Canvas message or an email and say, can you please let me know how you would like me to focus my reading for this week? For this week in our class, we're going to be dealing with character analysis as you're reading. So you really want to focus as you're reading on the characters and understand the characters and their reactions to events so that we can begin to understand them better. As we begin to look at how they are responding to things unfolding around them, it helps us to see into who they are as individuals. And that's very deliberate on Chris Crutcher's part. Our theme is coping and mental health. So again, think about that as you're reading. How are our characters coping? And what about their mental health? The state that they are in. And how does the state that they are in affect the way they respond to events? So for this week, in chapters 1 through 6 as you're reading, bear in mind that you have a small group discussion, and you can see that specifically in Canvas. The due dates for this discussion, your initial post is due on Friday, 10/9. You will be working in a small group with probably 3 to 4 students in your group that are randomly chosen. Your initial post again is due by Friday, 10/9, and your replies are due by Sunday, 10/11. There is a group leader that is, again, been randomly chosen. If you are the group leader, You want to make sure that you know who is in your group. If you see that people are not posted by Friday, you need to reach out to them via Canvas email and let them know and remind them that they need to do their posting either on Friday or on Sunday. So what we're going to be focusing on this week is what we call a conversation roundtable. And there are benefits to this. Number one is an active reading strategy. It helps you to focus as you're reading on taking purposeful notes. And these notes are very task related. How we do this today can be adapted to other classes that you're taking as well. So always bear in mind as you are learning some different note-taking strategies, how can you apply this to other classes that you're taking? The other benefits for the Conversation Roundtable are that it allows for an interactive conversation with your peers, especially in this online environment. This is important, not only in the classroom, but as you are going to begin to find out, if you haven't already, in working jobs in this new environment that we are in, more of our jobs are becoming remote. And so the ability to be able to have an interactive conversation with people online is important. It allows you to share your thinking. It allows you to listen actively to what other people have written. It allows you to respond in a social situation that's appropriate. And it gives you time to self-reflect. What are you doing well? Where have maybe you fallen down in note-taking? What do you maybe need to adjust? Were there other ideas that people had that you didn't even think about? And you can add those to your notes, and hopefully this will adjust your reading patterns for the future. So for the Conversation Roundtable, this is what your note-taking will kind of look like. You'll have a key question here. And for us, ours is going to look maybe a little bit different than this. We'll have it maybe in a more note-taking environment. But this key question is going to be a specific event. And then you're going to think about how people responded to that particular event. And so you'll have the characters' names here, and then thinking about how they responded to that event. So this is just, again, one of those note-taking tasks or strategies that you can do. And again, you can do this in any class. Remember, you've got this. And if you have any questions, let me know. Take care.